You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, your host, back with another episode. There goes my phone. I am down at the Central Exchange building right now on the third floor. It's a little echoey, I apologize. Surrounded by absolutely nothing. It's quite cool. You'll see on the video, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a pretty cool setup. Absolutely nothing here. But the reason I'm down here is to interview Eric Granado, and if you follow Eric at eric.granado, you'll see that his photography is unreal. And I mean unreal because he's just, I think in the short time he's been doing it, a lot of you probably won't believe he's only been doing it for about a year, which just blows my mind, and we're going to get into that story today. So welcome to the podcast, Eric Granado.
Dude, thank you so much. I'm honestly really honored because there's been a lot of big names on here.
Thanks.
Like recently Brooke Wells, and I'm included. It's kind of
that was a pinch me moment. My brother's completely in love with her, so the whole time we were doing that, whole time we were doing that, she was really cool. She was awesome, and hopefully, actually, I think we're gonna. I'm gonna be up in Tulsa in a couple of weeks, so there's a CrossFit competition. What's it called? KO in the OK, I think it's called. It'll be in like the BOK Center. So.
Those CrossFit people are insane.
It's ridiculous what
insane
you can do.
People.
Ridiculous.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
I've beaten my body up too many times. I can't do CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm not about it.
No, I've said this pretty much every podcast. I play golf. We don't, we may lift a little bit of weights now, but it's mostly cardio that I do, and I'm happy doing cardio. But some of the stuff that she was talking about doing, my co-host who came with me is a buddy of mine, Gan, and he's into it. Like, he's done it for 5 years. He throws some weight around.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about his times to her times, and just like, she's unbelievable. Like, it's hard to get your head around. You've like done this much stuff in this little time. How does that happen, But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get into the story, mate. It's been good. I love sharing your photos. A lot of them, kind of Western-ish, right? That's kind of the theme for now.
Yeah, I finally, so just kind of a background, I started doing photography, it really got into it, I think November of last year. And I think back in like May or June, I finally started to find my niche. I think the reason behind it was, my girlfriend and I, she always said like guys in cowboy hats just look stupid,
I thought the same thing coming here from the States, coming here from
and that kind of hurt because I was like, man, I've always wanted to get a cowboy hat.
I have too.
And so just for fun, we went to Boot Barn one day and I tried one on. She's like, that doesn't look bad. It doesn't, it doesn't look douchey. And I was like, okay. So I looked one up, got one, and since then, it's like
it's a part of you now, isn't it?
It's what I want to do. Yeah, I've always had an interest in like the Old West. Wyatt Earp, Pat Garrett, Jesse James, Billy the Kid is probably like my favorite outlaw by far.
Yeah.
And just that's like my favorite time period.
It's just a different time, isn't it?
It's awesome. The movies behind, just the Western, lifestyle.
Yeah.
Video game, Red Dead Redemption is probably one of the most famous video games of all time. And it's, just the whole Western thing is just, it's awesome.
Right.
And it's part of what the U.S. is now. It's a really important time in the history of America, and I think not too many people really respect it.
The equivalent for me would be like the whole Peaky Blinders kind of thing.
Yep.
That for like everyone in the UK is kind of what like the Western way stuff is in the States, isn't it? And just kind of that whole scene and the way that they grew up and the way that like gentlemen are viewed during that time. But yeah, I mean, like to look through your Instagram feed and just see all these really cool Western pictures, and I know you traveled quite a bit as well with work and stuff. But I think the one I shared that was amazing was like, I think you went to an old rodeo or whatever, and you posted like 10 pictures, they're all in black and white, and every single one of them, like, which one do I put first?
Yeah, it's so that was actually out in Maud, Oklahoma. MAUD. It's a tiny town, probably south of Shawnee. I was just looking up rodeos to go to in the summer. and I was like, I'm gonna go to the mod rodeo. I don't know what it's about. I don't know where it is. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
And man, I had one of the best times. It was just, it seemed like a lot of local people. I mean, not a lot of people knew where. If I say mod, nobody knows where it is.
Yeah, I have no idea where it is.
And
yeah, I'm glad you explained.
It's just the local scene.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of the riders weren't that great, but I guess that's what makes rodeos fun. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know if they're going to be, 8-second bull rider or if they're even going to show up. So that's kind of the fun thing about those small rodeos.
Is that kind of something that you've just done over the last year? Is just like, I'm going to go and find these random places and just something that's getting you out of town, getting you to see a little bit more, and just kind of like I guess you've got to be creative by going to these places, haven't you?
Yeah, it challenges me, and plus it just gets me out of the house, And I think that's why I like photography, because I do tend to get lazy. But I think just having a camera in my hands, it's like, okay, I want to go somewhere. I don't want to just stay in the city.
Yeah.
And especially with the type of photography I'm into now, it's like I need to get out. I need to go on a 2-hour drive to Western Oklahoma and find some rundown town that's having a rodeo. So, and man, they're just, it's a blast. I mean, seeing how people interact with animals, and especially riding one.
Right.
I mean, you got to have a lot of respect for.
Horses scare the shit out of me.
God, dude. So it's funny. I actually rode my first horse a few months ago. Never got the chance to. Didn't grow up around it. So I know a rancher out north of Guthrie, and I was riding my horse fine, and he said we had to get a steer or cow out of the bushes because she's about to have a baby, right? Mm-hmm. So we go riding trying to find it. As soon as we find her, the cow gets scared, and that scares the horses. And my horse just took off. I lost one of the reins, so I was holding on to one rein. I was trying to pull back on it, and I thought I was gonna get bucked off or fall off or just break my neck or something. Yeah. And I finally got the horse slowed down, and my buddy's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Dude, I have no idea. I'm like breathing heavy.
I'm still holding on.
Like my eyes are like wide open." And and he was like, "Why didn't you bring your camera?" I was like, "Well, probably that reason."
So, you're right.
Yeah, probably best I.
Because like anybody else, you're thinking, I wish I had like a GoPro strapped to my chest right now, so you could watch the whole thing again.
I really wish somebody would have seen it. It's kind of just one of those, share and tell stories.
Yeah,
so,
well, I'm sure you're like, I kind of wish someone saw it, but I kind of hope they don't. They've never seen it ever
After
again.
that experience, I've had a lot more respect for horses and bulls and everything. So it's those things. Yeah, they scare me, but it's a lot of fun.
So you never grew up around ranching or being in the country or horses or anything like that?
No, I never got to. My mom grew up in Western Oklahoma. I'm talking Panhandle, like close to Black Mesa State Park,
which is beautiful.
Yeah, out in like Beaver, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
She had a family farm growing up, but my parents moved to Las Vegas, and we lived in Indiana for a bit. And I never really got to grow up around it. I've always had like an admiration. I've always wanted to be a part of that. I thought that lifestyle was just cool. It's rugged, you know, it's manly. It's just, everything, a guy should want to be. You grow up and you want like a Red Ryder BB gun, and that's just like what everybody wants.
Yeah.
And I never grew up around it, but I've always just had an admiration for it and love for it, and never got the opportunity to live that lifestyle.
Right.
And now that I'm kind of getting into photography, just a year into it, I'm still finding my way.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I guess I don't really know where it started. It's just always loved it, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and then now, like I said, you're into photography, and it just seems natural to capture all these moments.
Yeah, it really is. A big inspiration, Ben Christensen on Instagram.
Okay.
He's out of Arizona. He's one of my all-time favorite photographers. He's just like living everything I want to do, just shooting for Henry rifles, Harley Davidson, just everything like that's just the Western lifestyle and culture. And dude, it's a blast because I've met so many people within such a short time, and not a lot of people are doing that style of photography. And so it's like you really get a chance to shine.
Yeah, definitely.
And, it's not too saturated.
Right, especially for the short amount of time that you've been in it. But kind of go back a little bit. So coming to Oklahoma, You've been here, what, 15 something years, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
About 15 years.
Yeah, and how old are you now?
26.
Okay, so you've grown up pretty much in, like, you're old enough to know what's going on in the last 15 years. You've grown,
Yeah.
So where does kind of, was photography like always on the radar, or was it just like, I'm going to try this and, a year ago and now you're here?
Well, I went to college to play football, but I was never a good student. I just, class really wasn't for me. Honestly, kind of felt like I was hindered by tests and everything. I actually, fun fact, I actually failed photography in college. Yeah. Kind of embarrassing.
I love that going forward.
Kind of embarrassing. But, I moved to Portland, Oregon after college, like 2 weeks after I graduated. Tried to go find, work out there, tried to go find full-time work. I never could just get in somewhere. I was struggling financially, couldn't find full-time work. I was working 2 jobs for the good part of 3 years. And my buddy sold me his camera that I met out there. And it was like a Canon T3i, some shitty camera. And I got that thing. I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of knew the ins and outs of it, but I really didn't know anything about editing, how to post anything. I was just kind of clueless.
Yeah.
But I had a camera. Ended up selling it just to make rent one month. And always when I moved back to Oklahoma, I was like, man, I really want to get a camera again. So I finally racked up the money to get one. And since then, it's that's kind of where photography came in. I had the opportunity to buy a camera, and since then I've just really, I hate to say the term, but I kind of blew up. And
true. That's totally right, because I like what you were doing. I think the first time I saw one of your photos was taking photos of at Graber Design up there and doing that. And doing this series that you did with because you did one with Todd, and you did one with Fading Up and the Donut Man, and I saw those. I'm like, I hadn't seen that before. And it's so cool to see that in the way that it was done. And that was quite early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I had this when I was interviewing for Nike out in Portland. One lady told me she knew I had the skills to go work there. But she was like, I know what Nike can do for you, but what can you do for yourself and to, I guess for the better of the company? That really stuck with me. I was like, what can I do on the side that's going to impress somebody?
Right.
And so my big thing, really didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of lost in the dark, didn't know what to do. And that's when I did photography. I was like, I need to tell my story. Everybody at Nike was like, you need to be able to tell a story in some way. And living out in Portland, I really got an appreciation for small business and the local food scene there.
Yeah.
I love food. I've always loved eating. But just exploring different places, discovering new places to go eat, and trying new things. That all came from living in Portland. I didn't know anything about ramen or, anything about sushi or, just off the wall things that's not normal here in Oklahoma when I was living out there. And when I moved back, I noticed how big the city's gotten. And I was like, man, I want to do something to show that off. And that's when I kind of reached out to Graber Design and kind of fell in love with small business again that way. The project kind of fell through early in the summer. Couldn't really find anybody to want to do it with me.
Yeah, what was the goal with that?
I really wanted to do a year's worth of projects.
Okay.
My big thing was called We Are Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of make it like a coffee table book.
Okay.
And kind of host an art gallery at the end of the year with everybody I shot with, and really just have them speak or show up at the show up at the event. That was kind of my big goal.
Okay.
But like I said, it kind of fell through.
Why did it fall through?
I couldn't find anybody that really wanted to do it, or that were even available to talk to.
Yeah.
So it was just I was reaching out to small local businesses when it wasn't getting anything back.
Yeah.
I just really didn't hear from anybody. Unfortunately, that was probably one of my favorite projects I've done so far.
Right.
Unfortunately, things just kind of fell apart.
I think we can do that.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think we can, like, with the amount of people that we know now.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, starting it, you probably started a little early.
Yeah.
You know, and then
too.
not knowing, like, with the people that we all know now, and now obviously the book of work that you have now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we could do that this year for sure.
I think so too. It's something I've been wanting to kind of get back to.
Yeah.
I think it's something I've just really fell in love with, is just small business in general.
How many people did you, like, was it just kind of one a month?
I was trying to do one a month, one story a month, and I was wanting to post like make 3 different posts just telling their story.
Right.
And I think the reason why I wanted to do it was I knew Oklahoma isn't known for its landscape. It's
Right.
not, and when people think about it, they think there's nothing in here at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the people are what make Oklahoma so great. And just falling in love with small business when I was living out in the Northwest, I really wanted to portray that here, because there's a lot of it here.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know. And so that was really my driving point to get that story out and share these people's stories. Everybody's got a different background in like entrepreneurship and business and just, thriving. I mean, I did the one with Todd for Eote when he just had his roastery.
Yeah.
And now he's opened his shop.
It's
and
crazy,
one of the
isn't
most popular coffee shops in the city.
Yeah.
Graber Design. I mean, he's done amazing stuff. Will's one of my, best buds. The Donut Man. That was one of some of the best donuts I've ever had. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to have
haven't,
them.
but I know, like, he just doesn't do it to make money, right? He's just kind of does it because he's retired and he wants something to do.
So he is a children's book author.
Okay.
Yeah, super cool stuff. Show me some of his art, and dude's super talented. But he's just kind of doing it on the side because he wants to do it. He doesn't want to expand, but I think that's the cool thing about small business is you see this van around, you expect him to, get popular enough to open up a store.
Yeah.
And that's not his goal.
Right.
He just wants to stick with his van. Now he's got 2 of them. So
That's
it's just,
so cool.
he's growing tremendously, and, it's awesome to see. So
I like I said, there's so many people that we could easily find 12 people. I don't think there's a problem there. It's just doing it in a way that going back to the Donut Man stuff that he does, it's like doing it because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Not to make money, not to do this, not to do that. It's doing it because like you said, you actually enjoy doing it. It's the most fun you've had doing.
I agree.
I think we can definitely pick
the
that
big
up.
thing was, it was just like, I was trying to make it I wanted to find a different person or someone unique every
Right.
single time. I just wanted to show off the diversity of the state too. And I just really, things kind of fell through and got busy and really
Yeah.
couldn't,
So now to, like, kind of, if after that fell through, how does the whole Stetson thing come about?
Man,
Because that's good for, like, someone who's been doing it for a year, right, and who failed photography.
Oh my God.
That's mega.
dude, I was super stoked when they were just like, yeah, let's see something. I was like, you're kidding. Like,
This is the real Stetson, right? You are sending me emails.
I'm like,
You're not someone, like, joking with me.
I'm like, are you sure? Like, I don't have a whole lot into this. And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And the social media lady, she's awesome. One of the friendliest people ever. And I took a trip to Portland back in August, and she was like, let's link up. And she gave me a hat to take pictures of, and because they were going to announce that that's probably their best-selling hat. I think it's like the Stetson outdoor hat, but it's like one of the most popular ones. They were just announcing it was back in stock, and that was the big thing. And I told her about my buddy Will at Graber Design, and she was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And the big thing is we wanted to show that Stetson's not just cowboy stuff.
Right. Because everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that.
Yeah, honestly, I mentioned Stetson, and everybody's like, the cologne?
Yeah.
No, it's a cowboy brand. But, I mean, when I say that, they don't expect to see a cabbie cap and a flannel and some jeans.
Right.
It's not just pearl snap shirts and cowboy hats.
Yeah.
And I think that's, something we really wanted to portray, that they're more than just cowboy hats. And so that was really our big focus there.
Yeah, and it's just called Stetson Stories, right? Like
Yeah.
hashtag Stetson Stories.
Yeah, if you go to Stetson.com, and I think if you go to, it's the Stories tab or blog, I think it's the blog, you can just read it there. So I'm not much of a writer, so I tried to write the best I could. So yeah, I don't do much writing.
I get literature and, like, writing, and, like, my aunt was an English teacher, and, like, she basically was the only one to get me through my classes because I'm terrible at spelling and all that stuff. but I write the way that I speak, right? And apparently I've written blogs and stuff, and they've said that they're decent. I think they're horrific, and I got to the point now where like I just don't care enough to worry about it, so I just do it. So you're probably reading some of the bios and some of the podcasts thinking, what is he talking about? Like, there's not a period in there. I haven't taken a breath in time. Like, I'm typing it sounds great in my head, and then you read it and you're like, I probably should proofread more. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
One of my good friends gave me one of the best compliments. She's like, when we first met, because she runs the Portraits OK page.
Okay.
And she's like, you type exactly how you talk. I was like, I don't even know what that means, but thank you. I was like, I guess I'm just myself, you know?
Right.
I try to like write APA style.
Well, like people do do it well. They're thinking 4 or 5 sentences ahead.
Oh man.
You know, and I'm like the same as you probably, and we're just like, yeah, I think we'll do, and they just string it together, you know.
It's probably because I didn't do good in school.
Same.
You know, that's probably the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. My thing with photos, it's like everybody's got a story to tell. Sometimes I just don't think that's the case. I think a photo should speak for itself.
Right. Definitely.
You know, and I think that's really my whole thing. I kind of look at photos as art. I mean, because it is. I mean, if you,
I agree
if you
with
go to
you.
a museum and you see a photo, it doesn't have this long story behind it.
Right.
It's just a title.
It tells a story,
Yeah.
especially the Western ones.
Yeah, I mean, it should be able to just tell a story in itself. It should
Yeah.
make you feel something. You know, just looking at it, it should, whether it resonates with you or it doesn't. I mean, that's what photography's about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I don't really write a whole lot either. So maybe I should get a ghostwriter next time to do the job for me.
We'll find somebody, I'm sure. But no, like those stories were really cool, and like I said, in Stetson coming around and doing that, and I guess that just kind of fueled you to be like, I'm actually doing something right here.
Yeah,
Like
I'm still kind of amazed at, you know, the fact
still in the
that
honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah.
I've taken December off from shooting, just, you know, give my brain a rest and just really focusing on my day job, you know, just wrapping up the year. But now that, you know, it's January and plan on doing some traveling soon, you know, really wanted to kind of get back into it and dive head first. So, man, there's still so much to learn. And the fact that you had me on, and you know, just really appreciate it.
We've been trying to do this for a while, haven't we?
I know. Things really fell through.
Yeah.
You got to get your act together.
This I know. Tell me about it, because if Michael's listened to this, Michael Weideman's we've been trying to do a podcast. I've been trying to do a podcast with Michael for probably a year, and it just keeps falling through.
Dude, Michael, man, that guy.
He's got some skills.
Oh my God! Now, when I think of like the Oklahoma photography scene, I think of Michael. Like he's like the epitome. I mean, his family moved out to Yosemite Park. You know, his mom's out in Arizona, I think, and he wants to stick here because he thinks Oklahoma's such a cool place.
Yeah.
And for him to, you know, be that face of Oklahoma, just.
No, I definitely agree with you.
He's a very good, I guess, ambassador for the state.
Yeah, definitely.
And so,
We tried to. I tried to record it in the day before I left to go home for Christmas, and worst day for me ever, right? Because you know it's like I did pack. I'm a man, right? But I actually did pack the day before, and we were supposed to do it that day. And I woke up that morning and I just looked at this giant list of stuff I had to do, and I texted him. I was like, dude, I am so sorry. I have so much stuff to do. Michael, if you're listening, we'll get this done, I promise. One day.
Dude, this weekend I got to pack tonight, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of packing.
No.
That's the worst thing.
Well, then you go back to like the whole Western thing is like basically you just everything you carry is all you have.
Yeah, basically.
Like
That's
if we can go back to that and just have a pair of jeans, a pair of boots, a jacket, and a hat.
That's what I'm saying. What you got on your back is all you need. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that it's the minimalist lifestyle a lot of people want to live, and look at the way cowboys. Just a little sack and that's it.
Right.
So
I couldn't just have the equivalent, obviously, of a horse today as a car, so I couldn't just have one car, though. I'd have to have a few.
Yeah,
that's the only way. That's for me. I'm a car guy, so
you need your car you're driving around in, then you need to hook it up to a trailer. Your other car to the trailer. Fun, just get that whole.
Yeah. So the new year, obviously, you still have a job, right? You're still working full time.
Yeah, I'm really wanting to get into. I feel like even though I've been doing it such a short time, I can really feel like I can leave my day job this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to take some work. It might not happen. Man, that's the hardest thing. It's like.
But there's light there, right?
There
you
is.
Can see the
I think that's a hard thing from a lot of people liking my work right off the bat. It's like, okay, it's coming so quickly. It's hard to be patient because you can see that light, and a lot of things take time. But the fact that I can kind of see it, it's like it's hard to not be impatient.
Right.
And I think I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, like as long as you have a plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Some form of plan.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, get into the industry full time. Utilize my strengths. I feel like the longer I wait, the window's gonna close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I need to take advantage of my opportunity.
Yeah, and even if you just start going part time with work or whatever it is, like cut back, like just kind of then just naturally one's gonna take over. And
for sure, I got this project that might happen with Stetson this year. I don't want to get too into detail, but it involves a boot maker out in Guthrie.
Nice.
So I'm kind of keeping.
So that's local too.
It is local. Yeah. Well, I guess I can share it with you while I'm here. So this guy, Raymond Dorwart out of Guthrie, he was a cowboy out in Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska for like 18 years, right? And for the past 37 years, he's been living in Guthrie, making custom handmade cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Like straight up cowboy boots.
Sounds like someone we need to have on the podcast.
Yeah, for cowboys and ranchers.
Yeah.
And he's just kept a low profile. His shop, all the machines in the shop are just the original machines that he started with. And it's like a step back in time. And man, it's just like one of the coolest things you can do.
Right.
You walk in, all the floors are just hardwood. It's dusty in there from just everything floating around.
Yeah.
He's really just a legend in Oklahoma, and I think still not a lot of I don't think anybody knows about him.
Right.
And I think that's just really the cool thing about that.
Yeah. So kind of the good thing is, I guess, with going back to what the stories that you did, now you have like Stetson behind you to say, hey, let me see if this works. And then when you contact someone or they contact someone for you, that helps.
I think we're circling back to it this month.
Okay.
Just until they get their new budget, see what happens. I'm not.
Yeah.
It may happen, it may not. But
Right.
If it doesn't, wanting to share those photos. I've been hanging on to them, I think, since August.
So this has been done already. You already shot these photos.
I've already shot these photos.
Okay.
I'm kind of weird. It's like I hold on to the best photos until like the last, until I just really want to.
Yeah.
'Cause, a lot of the work that you see on the page, it's not like that's not my best work.
Right.
And I don't know why. I think it's just kind of like it's the excitement, like you're holding on to it, and when you post it or it's out there, the excitement's gone. It's like, okay, it's done. It's like.
But at the same time, like if someone looks at that, like someone's looking at your Instagram feed now, and you look down there and like you think this stuff's awesome, and it's the total opposite to what everyone does in their Instagram. Everyone's Instagram page or Instagram life is way better than they say than all life is.
Yeah.
Right. And now you just said that like you hold like. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, especially if you want to get people to like pay you to do stuff. I'd be posting all my stuff. I don't care if any of you know what I'm saying.
I get that too. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of weird. Like these photos. I think I have like 70 photos of the shop on my computer. And it's like I haven't shared it with anybody. I just kind of feel like I don't want to. I feel kind of selfish. Like I just want to for myself. It's like, man, I just fixed an awesome steak, and I don't want any of you guys to have it. That's kind of the only thing is,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Fixed a nice like 16-ounce ribeye.
Yeah.
And
just gonna eat it all on my own.
Dude, that's really kind of how I feel.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get my website up probably within the next month or two.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can kind of share those photos in there. So I don't know.
At least have a place to put like.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to share them, but I think I'm just kind of waiting until we can get that word out and see. So I think that's kind of like a big announcement. But I'm hoping to kind of get on board with a few other brands.
Yeah, right. Because like once you kind of have one and you can prove that you can do the work with one, then hopefully they all. Yeah, especially if you've got those like the in that scene, there's a few core groups that you really want to work with. As long as they don't overlap each other, you should be okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of hard for me because I think I'm like one of the few people in Oklahoma actually doing just Western photography.
Right.
And so that really kind of limits the amount of props I have.
Yeah.
So even just taking something out for a shoot, it's like, I don't really know anybody that might have, a Winchester rifle or, a certain style hat. And so I think that's kind of something I might need to try to pave that way for maybe other people to,
Right. So how would you go about just like I said, this has happened in such a short amount of time. So when it comes to times where you think I need props, I need to meet more people,
I have.
Like, you just like roam around the stockyards hoping to see somebody.
Dude, honestly, yeah, it's either roam around the stockyards. I love going to Langston's and maybe just finding something, or just finding stuff on like OfferUp or Craigslist that maybe I could just buy for the cheap. So a lot of the stuff I have, it's like it came out of my pocket. So it's kind of that's another hard thing. So trying to find stuff for a shoot. Guns aren't cheap, but
especially Winchester rifles.
Man, you're telling me. So
you gotta find some old guy who doesn't know what a camera really is, and he's never seen one.
Man, I know some buddies out in Texas. I think we're getting together. Another big thing, we're working on a Western to possibly get filmed this spring.
No way.
Yeah. So kind of keeping that under wraps until we kind of get everything set in.
Like obviously in the state and.
Yeah, probably in the state or out in Texas.
Okay.
It's kind of like a big group of us. I think a few of us here in Oklahoma, and a few out in Texas. And our big plans are to, maybe do like some Western shorts or something down there in Fort Worth, Texas, around that area. So yeah, that's kind of another big thing. I don't know. I kind of keep things to myself. And wait until
Well, I mean, it makes sense when you like. I understand waiting when you don't have everything set up right.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is say, "Oh, I'm going to do this,"
and then it doesn't.
And then someone calls you up in 6 months and be like, "Oh yeah, about that. What's happening?" And you're like, "Oh, it kind of."
It's like telling everybody like, "Oh, hey, I'm talking to this girl," and then it's like, "Oh, wait,
right,
never mind, we're not talking anymore."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like just wait until things are like settled in, and then we'll,
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. I've had because when I was living out in Portland, I had so many interviews at Nike, and nothing. I couldn't get in the door.
Yeah.
It was like really where I wanted to work, and I was like, oh yeah, I got an interview, or I interviewed here, and it never happened. And then I was like, man, I just sound like I'm just crying wolf. It's like, all this is happening and it doesn't. So I'd rather just kind of keep things under wraps until it actually happens.
Why? So obviously you moved to Portland to try and work at Nike.
Yeah.
Why though? What was the whole goal for Nike?
In college, I really just, I had an admiration for it. So I was like, man, the only way I'll get a chance to even get an interview is to go move out there. So moved out there to get my opportunity, interviewed. I actually met like the VP of Jordan Brand. Got to sit one-on-one in his office. Met the VP of Design of Jordan Brand, the guy behind Tinker Hatfield, probably one of the greatest like footwear designers of all time. Got to chat with him, for a bit. I just met a ton of awesome people there, but I just never got my foot in the door. It was really frustrating. I think I know one interview, I think they said if they hired me, they'd be holding back my potential because I guess I was just like too passionate. They think I get bored in the job, so I think that's really,
I'm just trying to put Nike and Western wear together. It doesn't go together.
It's really weird. I didn't really.
It's like you'd live a completely different life if you were in Portland working for Nike selling shoes.
Yeah.
Or doing whatever it was.
Honestly, yeah. And I think that's one thing I really love about Oklahoma. It's like I think this side of me has always been me, but I've just never gotten a chance to really show it.
Right.
And so I think moving here really gave me the opportunity to become that person. And I think this has been me the entire time. I just never got the chance to do it because either one, everybody said, I look stupid or something, but now it's like, really have a lot of support from other people, and they're really pushing me.
Right now, this is part of you, and this is kind of the journey that you're on. And when they see the photos or they see you in a hat, they're like, oh, it's just normal because that's how they probably see. They think that's how you've always been.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I don't know about you. Look at the photos. It's like, dude, I'm like nothing like I was last year. Like this time last year, it's like, dude, really? Boots and cowboy hats.
But I love that because it just shows you how much can happen in just 1 year.
Yeah. I think that's
a
really
year
easy
ago when
too.
you picked up a camera and you're like, I'm gonna get back into this because it's kind of fun and I don't want to, I might not want to play video games all day.
Exactly.
And now you're here working for Stetson and all that kind of stuff.
Man, it's really been a blast trying to seeing where the year has taken me. So, but I think that's I kind of reminiscing that way kind of gets me complacent. So it's like I'd rather just kind of shrug it off and keep going. So, and I know that may not be the case for some people, but I get complacent and lazy and just want to sit around. So I'll try to just keep chugging along. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I think just picking that avenue of art and photography and just being a way to really express my interests and passions. I think it's been just a door that opened.
Yeah.
And with the market not being so saturated in that field, it's really opened up a you know, opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not for everybody. The ranching lifestyle, just talking to a buddy of mine, you know, it's really romanticized. You know, people think, oh, you know, just living on land and, you know, got like 50, 100 head of cattle. You know, they think it's all, you know, oh man, this is
There's
awesome.
no days off.
There's no days off.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see them when they're, you know, in mud boots and a mud cap and just out in the rain and the cold and trying to feed 50 cattle. And you don't know if the market's going to fluctuate. It's a very romanticized lifestyle that a lot of people don't understand, because it's not just what you see in movies or magazines. It's literally a lifestyle. They live and breathe it, and some years they don't know if they're going to make ends meet. It's a really cutthroat industry, but it's a really respectable one. And I think just what I'm doing, I think kind of, I hate the romanticized part of things. I mean, I know everybody loves like hope and everything. One of my favorite movies is like No Country for Old Men, right?
Okay.
And that's just such a dry.
Tommy Lee Jones, right?
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, Coen brothers, and I think that's just like a beautiful movie, because they've made like West Texas into this beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
And
it's really not.
It's not though. And but it's just the ending of the movie's not a happy ending.
Right.
I think that's just like the realness of it. And I think that's kind of why I resonate with like cowboys and ranchers. A lot of the times, these rodeos you go to, these are ranchers and cowboys just trying to make an extra buck. So they're bringing their horses and riding them.
Yeah.
Just to hopefully make a few extra $100 to pay rent or pay the bills.
Yeah.
So that's really what a lot of rodeos are. So it's not just people going for competition. And a lot of these guys are just really trying to make ends meet when they go to these things.
Right, especially in like the small towns that you go into to see these places.
Yeah, so I think that's the one thing I really respect about those guys. So they're just always doing something.
Yeah.
To earn an extra buck.
You must have must have met some crazy, like, these amazing people in all these cool places, right? Like the people that you've bumped into, when you go into a small rodeo. Is there any stories that come up from that? Or like, do you just go to people and say, I'm going to take some pictures? Do you mind?
I'm still kind of getting over that fear of just like, hey, let me take some photos. I think this summer I'm really going to be on the rodeo circuit here in Oklahoma, just constantly every weekend going to a different rodeo, just capturing that. Yeah. And another thing is everybody just has respect for each other. Everybody supports each other, even if it's not guys just trying to earn an extra $100. It's people go there to get away from work and get away from the ranch and enjoy themselves for a bit. So I think that's really just kind of what America's about. You work and that's what we're built off of, is blue collar people. Right. And then same with small business. And so any chance we have to kind of get away and enjoy ourselves. Yeah, I think that's really what.
And I think about. Like especially the pictures that come along with that rodeo that you went to, there's a typical, like, there's a beat up old truck there that they've probably been driving forever. Yep. There's like, it's so real, isn't it? It does not from a movie. Like, it's literally like there's gonna be some guy there who's 60, 70 years old who's been doing this since he was 10 or 5 or whatever it is, like his skin's like leather and he's got thick palms or whatever it is, but like that's the person that you want to capture. That's the person that you want to take photos of and tell stories of, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think, and that's what I think, just photos tell stories, I mean, some things may need a story behind it, but a lot of the time it's just looking at a photo just makes you feel something. And so I think that set of photos you're looking at is probably some of my favorite. Honestly, that was my first rodeo I've shot. I had no idea what to do, what to look at. And honestly, I was really upset that they didn't come out super sharp or clear, but I think that's the
rawness of it, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think it's just raw and real. I mean, it's a small town where, everybody's just working for a living. There's nothing to do. And so the local rodeos,
that's the thing to do on the weekend.
Thing to do, yeah. So, I just really fell in love with that lifestyle. And it's kind of where it's led me to today. So,
what's next? Like, what is your, I guess, like you saying earlier, hopefully this year you'll be able to transition and tell your boss, sorry, I'm going to take photos and travel the world now, which is a crazy feeling after, really with a year, over a year. But I don't know, where would you like to, where do you want this year to go? And I guess out the future after that.
I think this year is to be more consistent with just shooting, but I guess really hone in on telling a story. I think I can really work on my storytelling. I know I'm not really known for it, but I think just falling back in love with that again. Just taking this month off was to really just reset everything. So just kind of feel like I got burned out a little bit, just trying to force things. And I think this next year I'm hoping to, once again, kind of get into the industry. But, try to get like on board with like 3 or 4 more brands and, shoot for them. So I'm hoping to hopefully tell this story with Stetson. I'll keep it on the wraps for right now, and then be on the lookout for like a Western short film. Probably later in the summer. So really excited about that.
So with the short film stuff, are you going to be shooting the film or like acting in it, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you have a passion for videography as well, then. And
I
like
do.
film
I haven't really
like
dove into it.
Yeah.
I need to hit up Les and have him give me a few.
100%.
Have him give me a few pointers. So
like he does not stop working.
No, he really doesn't.
Which is crazy.
And that's the thing about freelancing, though. That's
Yeah.
If you're not working, you're not gonna make a buck.
Right.
So, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, Les works very, very, very hard.
So Les, if you're listening, I'll pay you for some lessons. But yeah, I'm hoping to shoot.
I know what he's gonna tell you. He's gonna tell you go to YouTube. And Canon would tell you the same thing.
No, I'm saying I've learned a lot from photography, even just going on YouTube and searching up things, how to do this and that. So I'm hoping to get my acting skills together too. So I've always felt like I belong in that kind of movie or TV show, whatever you want to call it. So
it'd be a cool thing to tick off the bucket list, wouldn't it?
Oh man,
I've gone from like loving westerns and loving cowboy stuff to I've like started my own western movie.
Oh dude, wouldn't that be sick?
That'd be so cool.
I've always wanted to play that Tommy Lee Jones role, just No Country for Old Men. I don't know. I got to wait a few years to get to his age, so hopefully
you got plenty of time left.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome. I mean, it's so cool to see like, just the difference a year can make, right? And just coming back and having a camera and then just having this passion for Western wear and now like I said, it happened very fast. But I get the feeling just by talking to you now that it's not, you haven't just been like, this is not something that's just gonna be like 15 minutes of fame and you're gone, right? Like I get this feeling is like, oh, like this is just flick the light on, and now it's like, oh, hang on, you know what I mean? You just like you crack the door open a little bit, and now it's like, this is what I want to do.
I really set the foundation, and now I can start to kind of build on top of that now. Learning. I'm hoping to take a really big trip this summer, and my big goal this year is to go to the Pendleton Roundup out in Oregon.
What's that?
So it's probably the most famous rodeo in the world. Out in Pendleton, Oregon, Pendleton whiskey, Pendleton Woolen Mills. It's a huge rodeo that brings tons of people out there, and it's out in like northwest or northeastern Oregon. And a lot of people think Oregon, it's like green trees, rainy all the time. But once you guys go east of the Cascades, it's all high desert and rolling hills. And man, that's probably the essence of what cowboying is about, is the Pendleton Rodeo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When is it?
It's I think it's like end of September.
Okay.
So every year, but man, just being out in that part of the country just really gets my creative juices flowing. But I'm hoping to shoot a bit while I'm out here and get a few more people on board, and hopefully I can really blow up this year.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think last year was kind of just like a taste of what I can do, but now I'm finally starting to find my style and everything. I think this year, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, so, I think like going back to just the stories that you were telling, and I guess that falling through might have been a good thing for you.
I think so too.
Because like it kind of still fuels the fire a little bit and pushes you to something else.
Exactly.
And gives you more time to do something else.
Yeah, and I think just my style really makes me unique. People think, oh, it's Cowboy Eric. Well,
Right.
I live in the suburbs,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping to, really kind of live that out a
Yeah.
bit more this year. So
Awesome.
I'm hoping to drop a few pounds too. So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully a year from now, being like 50
And
pounds
then
lighter.
another year's difference. We'll see.
Man, we'll see. I love food
Awesome.
too much. So
Hey, who doesn't, right? It's January. Everyone's on their New Year's Eve resolutions right
I've
now.
already
So
broken it. Had like the best. Man, so I went to Whataburger today. I just got like a double Whataburger Junior off the value menu. Man, that was probably one of the best fast food burgers. Like, I've had In-N-Out, I've had Shake Shack.
Yeah.
But man, that was probably like just from fast food burgers. Man, that was
Yeah.
probably one of the best.
I'm not
By
really an
far.
In-N-Out fan. I don't know. I think it's too much hype. But going
think
on
my-
saying like underrated burgers, the best burger I've ever had, and I know the reason is this because I ran the OKC half marathon last year, and I got back to the house and on the way home there's a Sonic, and I haven't eaten Sonic for like literally since I've been in the States, so almost 8 years.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, I want a double cheeseburger. I'm like, that sounds so good. And it's only because I just ran 13 miles that was like literally the best burger I've had in the last year. But back to just random like surprises. That was one of them.
Man, so I've been following this guy. I think his name's George Motz. He's a burger scholar, a self-proclaimed burger scholar. There's been like 12,000 burger joints across the country,
Okay.
right? And he says the burger belt is from Texas to Wisconsin. That's where, in that chain going north is where you can find the best burgers in the country. But that makes Oklahoma the buckle.
Basically, right.
And
then,
so, his favorite burgers are the Oklahoma fried onion burgers. It's the history behind it, but it's also just a good concept, And some of his favorite burger joints are like out in El Reno, out in Tulsa, and I think.
Have you been ticking them off the list?
I went to Brownies in Tulsa this past weekend. They make their own root beer.
Okay.
They've been around since like 1958. Sid's Diner is probably one of the most famous ones in Oklahoma. I think they've been featured on like Diners, Drive-In, and Dives with Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Food Paradise. Tucker's is one of my favorite burgers.
Yeah, big fan of Tucker's.
Oh my God. Nick's, man, that's a great burger scene out here. So, but yeah, I think.
Have you had Ron's?
I haven't had Ron's. I've been planning
Ron's is good.
I've been planning to go there. So I'm trying to check some.
There's one
burgers
on like
and
May
things.
and 50th. The original one's in Tulsa, but there's one on May and 50th.
I'm planning on checking off a few burger joints off the list this year. So I'm a big burger guy. So I think
That's one thing that I keep telling people back home, right? Because I just went home for Christmas and I went out for dinner with friends, and I wasn't really feeling like fancy kind of like knife and fork food. I just want to eat something, right? And burger sounds really good. Bacon double cheeseburger sounds awesome. And I was so like disappointed with it because I'm just like I'm used to having the like really good standard of burgers. Like I said, even like the Sonic ones or even like the food chain ones, like they're still good. And I just had this burger from this pub, and I was just like, it's such a letdown. I mean, it's good, but it's just like not the same.
I think with burgers, people try to get too fancy with it, but at the end of the day, it's a burger.
Right.
It's, I think I'm really big on not having too many toppings.
Yeah.
'Cause I think once you get too many toppings, it's not about the burger.
Right.
And it's like you're trying to hide something. All these steakhouses have these fancy like aiolis and all these fancy toppings. All it really needs to be is just meat and cheese, maybe some pickles, mustard, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's just the simpleness that I love.
Yeah.
And, I think that's, honestly, I think that's like the
We need to
perfect-
find some burger joints for you to take pictures of.
Dude, honestly, I got a few burger joints on the list I can
Good.
take anybody to right now.
Yeah.
They'll be amazed. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big burger guy, so yeah. Anybody wants to go grab a burger, hit me up. So
Awesome.
I'm always about it. So
I'll definitely have to take you up on that because I currently in the middle of a fitness thing, like most people are with their New Year's Eve resolution. And once it's done, I am going to destroy as much bad food as I can.
I'm starting my fitness journey next week. We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
But
How can everyone follow you? How can everyone reach out if they want you to do some work?
Man, honestly, I'm really just on Instagram right
Okay.
now. Not too big on like Facebook. I don't have Snapchat, Twitter.
Yeah.
Just reach out to me on Instagram
Okay.
or just on email. I mean, I don't think anybody emails anybody.
If it's an
anymore.
email, it's serious.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mainly just Instagram.
Okay.
I'm usually on, but that's really a big way
and
somebody
it's
can reach out.
at Eric.Granado.
Yeah, that's
Instagram.
Granado.
Okay.
Granado for those wondering how to say my name.
Yeah, me.
So.
Awesome. Well, mate, I really appreciate the time sat here for almost an hour just chopping it up and hearing your story. And
oh, dude, for sure.
Once this goes off, we'll definitely start talking about getting this people series back up together, because I think that's something that could be of serious value to everybody who wants to know about people.
I think it can, and I think just doing that can. I tell people from that that live out of state. It's like I want them to come visit just so I can show them around and show them how like interesting it is. And I think that it starts with small business and just being around here in Oklahoma City, up in Tulsa. So restaurants, entrepreneurs, craftsmen. So let's chat up and see if we can kind of get that thing rolling again.
Awesome.
So
thanks for your time, mate. I really appreciate it.
Mike, thank you. Appreciate you. So like I said, follow me on IG. That's really the only form of social media I use right now. But other than that,
all right,
appreciate you.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.